Hi everyone, my name's Lily and I'm the book reviewer behind Utopia State of Mind. And today I'm going to be chatting another one all about an author, and we're going to be chatting about Chloe Liese. I just want to also say I do have other clothes, but this is my comfiest sweater at the moment, and I just end up wearing it all the time. I just wanted to mention that. So I didn't actually even realize that I had read I think all of Chloe Liese's traditionally published books until like recently. I also think that these ones were acquired after they were independently or self-published. I'm not exactly sure which. At least the Bergman Brothers series. I know that for the Wilmot sisters, or I think that's what that other series is called, those ones were not, I think. So I'm pretty sure I'm up to date, otherwise I wouldn't be filming this video. So I'm going to be chatting first about the Bergman Brothers series and then about the Wilmot, I think, sister series. So for normally these, I kind of pick a favorite character, I pick a favorite book. Favorite character is going to be hard just because there's so many books. So basically there's, I'm pretty sure, 7 Bergman brothers, and then there's 2 so far Wilmot sisters. So that's 9 books. So picking a favorite character is hard. Of course, I kind of think of the last one that I've read. But if I had to pick a favorite character, I really liked... The thing is, okay, so I just finished Only and Forever, which I realize is not... Sorry, If Only You... Wait, no, that's also not the list. It's Only and Forever. The names of the books I find very hard to remember, so if I make a mistake, please just refer to whatever cover is next to my head in this space, because they are very, very similar to me. Like, let's just start. I think that the Bergman Brothers series should be read in order. Okay, I read the second one before the first one and I had to go back. That wasn't such a big deal, but definitely don't read number 7 before you read the rest. Like, I think that as I kept reading the series, I realized that you really do need to be reading them in order, because each one is kind of building off of these relationships, specifically the family. The family is a huge theme in the Bergman Brothers series. There are 7 siblings, their interactions, how they grow, how they develop. That is so crucial to the actual story and the heart of the book, that if you're not reading it in order to kind of see all of these kinds of stackable pieces, I think a lot gets lost in translation. I think at the beginning, books 1, 2, maybe even 3, it's very kind of easy to do that, to go read out of order, but really, after book 3, I was thinking they really need to be read in order. So I guess that's my first disclaimer about this series. I know for a lot of companion novel series in the romance sphere, there's one side which don't have to be read in order, and there's another side which do have to be read in order. I think for this one, you definitely need to read them in order, but they're all fantastic. They all have a variety of different tropes. I'm going to talk about those today. My favorite one of those is Ever After Always. Maybe my favorite character of all of them. I guess maybe Freya. Freya and I share a lot of similar traits. I think that's honestly one of the reasons why they're at the top of my favorite Bergman Brothers series, if I look at that as a whole. Mostly because I would love to see more marriage and crisis books, and Ever After Always is that. I love a good marriage and crisis book because for me, a lot of romance books kind of see marriage or see that like happily ever after as an ending point, and all these marriage and crisis books talk about, well, that's not real, right? There's all this hard work that has to be done afterwards. If you're going to be together for a very long time, you're also changing and growing and developing as a person. And so marriage and crisis books feel very real, feel very authentic to me, and so I think that's why that's at the top of my list. I love the idea of someone changing, secrets that you don't even know that you're keeping, because they're kind of hidden from yourself. So I love this idea of falling in love with a person. It is just like heart. And also there's the forced proximity and like the fake, oh, we're doing great, kind of feels on the family vacation. So that's definitely my favorite. Let's just go on to my favorite of the Wilmot sisters. I think my favorite is Better Hate Than Never. I'll talk about that later, but that's my favorite. Going back to the Bergman brothers, my second one is Everything for You. This is a fan of those who love Ted Lasso. It's a fan of those who ship Jamie and the very gruff one who is like always cursing. Roy, Jamie and Roy. basically that's their dynamic, like hands down. We have Grumpy Sunshine. We also have the soccer atmosphere. You have a similar thing where they're trying to, I love the Sunshine character point of this one, mostly because it's talking about, oh, everything's fine, but like, is everything really fine? Do we have people we feel safe enough to kind of let our guard down with? I loved that theme. I do think in the middle to, I guess, like, let's just say from 30 to 80%, we just do a lot of character development, which I really love. But I think that a lot of the actions, you know, a lot of these romance books, they have a third act conflict, third act breakup. And so we're feeling kind of that, okay, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Whereas the other ones, I felt a little bit like, for example, in Ever After Always, it felt a little bit more organic, that conflict. The next one on my list is Always Only You, which is actually the first one I've ever read, so it's very nostalgic, but like, I love a love interest who lays it all on the page. And for me, Ren is just so clear that he's in love with Frankie. There's like a miscommunication trope here that I don't love. That is kind of the vehicle to the story, which is why it's like number 3 on my list. But I just in general love a man who kind of puts it all out there. Plus, he's like the character with the most unique and the character with the most quirkiness, I feel like. You know, I've read all of the Bergman Brothers series, and I definitely feel like that is the case. Maybe I'm biased by the fact that he was like my first love interest from the series that I read, or my first character, because they're all dual perspective, by the way. So it's not like main character, love interest, main character, side character. They're all both main characters. I also really love Frankie's character to kind of... okay, I don't love the miscommunication trope, but I do love the like, oh, I'm falling for this person and I don't know if it's real because I think they're in love with someone else. I don't love the miscommunication trope, but I like that. Also, Ren and Frankie are probably my cutest favorite couple that kind of keep going throughout the series. So that's also why they're one of my top 3. The next one is Only and Forever, which is the last one that I just finished with Vigo. This one was so good. The reason why it's a little bit lower is that to me, you have to have read the other books before this, because you see Vigo being like, everybody else has happy endings but me. And until you've read books 1 through 6, I don't think you realize how much they're involved in each other's lives, how much them as a family kind of see the romantic struggles of everyone, and Vigo in particular. I think you really only appreciate Vigo and Vigo's like mental state as a character until you've read 1 through 6, which is why it's kind of knocked down a little bit on my list. We love a romance man. We love a bookstore man. So those were one of the reasons why I really loved Only and Forever. But we also love a cynic. So we love Tallulah, and we love their pet names. And also Vigo is another character who also lays it out on the page, which kind of helps because Tallulah has some relationship fears. And I think that's another reason why you have to read 1 through 6, because some of the other side characters in books 1 through 6 come back and like talk to Tallulah about that. Some of our favorite kind of like outsider perspectives to the Bergman brothers family. So in all, it was pretty high up on my list, but because you really are relying on the character development of these side characters and also Vigo throughout these books, and his own character grows subtly through books 1 through 6, that's kind of why it's a little bit lower. The next one is If Only You, Sebastian and Ziggy. We love a bad boy, and Sebastian is totally that. But I think what really took me off guard is that I love Ziggy. I loved Ziggy from the very first time I met Ziggy, but Sebastian stole the show for me in If Only You, which I didn't expect. But I think we love a redemption arc. But what I think makes Sebastian's redemption arc or character development so much more compelling is that his character is struggling so deeply to feel worthy of love, to feel like he is capable of giving love and capable of receiving love, both. And so seeing him struggle with this throughout that book just hits so emotionally deep because, you know, he has this thing. And so for me, If Only You has this really great kind of character development for both of these characters. And so the resolution for that just feels so much more satisfactory, so much more worthwhile. I also love that Ziggy and Sebastian see each other for who they are and not trying to change them. That's another huge theme of If Only You. So I definitely really love that one. I love all of these books, honestly, but I had to do a ranking. The next one is Only When It's Us, which they have a really great meet cute, and also having to see two characters who need to have patience and vulnerability open up and fall in love and be vulnerable with each other. The setup is really cute. I love the roommate characters, and I also love the intervention of Aiden, especially because it's like Aiden's first foray into matchmaking, and everyone in the Bergman brother family is kind of like, I wouldn't do this if I were you, kind of vibe. It's also really great for soccer. So all of the Bergman brothers, all the Bergman people play a sport of some sort. I think Vigo is the only one who doesn't really play a sport, but then again, Tallulah kind of play soccer. So these are very sportsy books. I think that a lot of times they'll get shelved with the sports romances, and to me, it's not. I think only Everything for You, which is the Ted Lasso one, that one has the most sports romance vibes, but I think the other ones, they're like romances with sports players, where one person is a sports player. And the final one is With You Forever, which is Axel and Rooney. Also really cute. This list kind of made me feel like I was tearing my heart out. I love a broody main character. I also love a main character who's great at home development. So I love that for Axel. Also, we love a reluctant pet dad, like a person who's kind of like, no, I don't love dogs. I'm only going to take care of begrudgingly this one dog and like let it live in my house and feed it and let it snuggle me. We love that for a character. And I also really love the theme of someone who thinks they need to carry everything on their shoulders. Both of these characters, both Axel and Rooney, are struggling with that in different ways. So definitely really love that one. But I had to rank them, people. I think that the Bergman brothers in general gives like a bromance book club vibe, which to me has a little bit easier chance of reading those out of order. But in general, I really love this family so much. I've loved the ways that they've come together. I would love to read a prequel story actually about the parents from the Bergman brothers. That would be great. I would devour that. I do want to mention that the reason why I haven't read the Tough Love series is I could not find them anywhere. They are out of print. I couldn't find e-copies. I couldn't even find like a store that would sell them to me, essentially. So I'm very sorry I'm not mentioning those. But as I said, this is only the traditionally published ones because I can't find the other ones. So if any one of you know where these are, what the deal with that are, then please let me know because I would like to read them, but I have no idea how to do so. Let's move on to, let me just double check because I keep saying Wilmot. I don't know if I've been saying Wilmot, but Wilmot. The Wilmot sisters books. I think there's a third one coming out, but these are both Shakespeare retellings. And I will say that they're very subtle. I love Better Hate Than Never, definitely my favorite of the two, mostly because I'm a sucker for Taming of the Shrew retelling. It's one of the Shakespeare plays I feel like that can be so misconstrued and misunderstood. And also, honestly, some of it's are like, wow, I don't know if I would stand by this. But Better Hate Than Never does it so well. And I think one of the reasons why it does so well is that there's this childhood crushes, rivals, we hate each other vibe, which I think really relies on them being dual perspectives. So we really see how it's just kind of like miscommunications, but a whole history of miscommunications that are building on top of each other, being like, you said this one thing, and because you said this one thing, I was really angry, and then I said this one thing, but then because of your response to what I said, then I hate, like, you know what I mean, kind of like that. I love the sister relationship in the Wilmot sisters, definitely consistently one of my favorite things, but I think that I love this idea of like a crush that you kind of love to hate, hate to love kind of thing, and so that's definitely why I love that one best. Two Wrongs Make It Right is the first one I read from the series, and it is a Much Ado About Nothing retelling, which I have read Much Ado About Nothing, but I don't know it well enough to really have been like, oh yes, this is it. There's fake dating to kind of get their mutual friends off their back, essentially. Opposites attract as well. I loved the sisters. This one was really fabulous. I rated both of these 5 stars. This one was really fabulous, but then I read Better Hate Than Never, and I was like, oh, I like that one better. Mostly because childhood crushes will always get to me. Like, they just have a special place in my heart. So obviously this entire video is subjective, all my opinion. But, so that's my guide to the Chloe Liese traditionally published works. I guess my TLDR is, if you were going to start with a book, you definitely have to start, and you want a series. Just want to say that now. You definitely need to start with the first one of the Bergman brothers, which I think is Only When It's Us. You definitely have to start with there. But also, this is another thing where, because this is the Wilmot sisters book 1 and 2, I do feel like you could read them out of order, but you'd probably be better reading them in order. That's kind of just always how it is with companion novel series. They always just end up kind of popping up, and even if you don't need to know, it always kind of helps. It always just gives you a better sense of the context of the world, and often the same setting. So, boring answer. I guess if you're going to start with one and you want to read a book series about a giant family who love each other and are like super, super affectionate, then you have to read the first one, Only When It's Us. And if you want a book about sisters, then you definitely have to read Two Wrongs Make a Right. Boring answer. I'm really sorry. I know that a lot of people are maybe waiting for it, but I hope that my kind of mini review trope mashups kind of thing for this whole list of Chloe Liese books help you, and I will see you in the next one. What is the next one? I think that the next one will be, is it spoilery if I say it? I think that it will probably be Emily Henry, but I could be wrong because I recently got an audio copy of Funny Story, and so I'm not sure if I want to read the audio copy or if I want to read the print. This will come up in the video about Emily Henry. But yeah, I don't know yet what I want to do, and so this one might just take a little bit longer to come out than I expected. Alright, I hope you have a really great rest of your reading day, week, month, and year, and I will see you in the next video.